Good morning. My name is Martha. Welcome back to my channel, Preparing for Retirement. Today, for this video, I wanted to go ahead and do a walkthrough of the free retirement software tool, Honest Math. And this tool, as I said, it's free and it's going to allow you to do a quick test of your plans, maybe your current portfolio to see where it's going to take you. I find it to be pretty good. It's very bare bones. Um, I've already done reviews of Bolden and FI Calc and some different ones that are just really, I think, very robust. And they do have free versions, but this one is just very, very easy to use, no real setup involved. And so I wanted to just kind of walk through and show you how it works. I also wanted to give an update on our current insanity. So I'll do that first, and then we'll go into honestmath.com. So in a prior video this past week, I did share that our whole timeline kind of got exploded. We were going to be trying to sell our home around August, and that kind of got flipped on its head when our realtor informed us last week that that was the worst time to sell. So the best time to sell is April. So it started this chain of events that has led to complete insanity. And I linked the video above so that if you want to see what's going on right now, you can. My stress levels are off the charts, is all I'm going to say about that. But we are seeing some progress. So anyway, I'll continue to update. It shouldn't actually be more than a week before everything is gone. And I guess we'll go live in a hotel at that point. I don't know what else to do if I have nothing to sit on but a bed, if the stager even wants to keep that. So anyway, that's my update on that. It is coming along. It's going to happen. It's hard. It's really hard, but it's happening. So let's get on to Honest Math and my review and my walkthrough. So first of all, here we are. It's www.honestmath.com. And then here you can click Simulator. And here on this page, you can see that they do provide you with a user guide. I'll be honest with you, I don't think you're going to need it. It's pretty easy. So we're just going to go ahead and click Get Started. And I'm going to set this up for a fictitious person here. We're just going to add a little bit of information here. This person's name is going to be John. John has a birth date of January and 1966. John is not retired, but plans on retiring at 65. And John expects to live 90 years. Okay. John's current income is $80,000. And John gets a bonus, or excuse me, not a bonus, a raise of approximately 3% per year. Okay. John has gone out to myssa.com and has seen that at full retirement, which is 67 for that age, his retirement amount is going to be $2,900. Okay. And then we're going to use the 2% default for the annual growth rate. That might be a little bit high, but we're just going to use that automatic default for the Social Security increase each year. John is going to be, let's just say John's receiving a pension of $500 a month. Okay. And John does not have any other income here. If you did, say you had, I don't know, a real estate rental, or if you had an annuity or anything like that, you would put that in here. And of course, if you're already receiving it, you're going to be checking that off. So what this amounts to is John is saying, I want to retire at the age of 65. I currently make 80,000. I'm not going to start collecting until 67, but this is the amount in today's dollars that I would be receiving. So John basically has to have enough from age 65 to 67 to make it until he's starting to collect Social Security. But he does have a pension for 500, so that will help. Okay, so once that is done, now we go to the portfolio tab. And now we're going to take a look at what is John's current portfolio balance. All right, well, let's say that he's managed to put aside $400,000 over his lifetime. And that could be a mix of his 401k, anything like that. That's the total of the portfolio. Okay, so now what is the allocation? What's the percentage of stocks? Well, John has gone with a classic 70-30. Okay. So 70% of that 400,000 is in the stock market and the other 30% is in bonds. Does John contribute regularly at work to his portfolio balance, to his retirement? And actually, this is both retirement and any other non-retirement savings. So let's say that John does contribute regularly, and he doesn't do a percentage though. He does, let's say, $400 per month. Okay. And he will, no, let's say he doesn't increase that. He's just going to keep that at $400 a month for his portfolio. Okay. They're already going on, so I'm going to choose immediately. And it's going to end at his retirement. He's not going to need to contribute anymore. He's going to start taking out. And then once a year, actually, yeah, let's just say next year he's planning on an inheritance. And so at age 60, he's going to put $10,000 into his portfolio. Okay. And you can add as many of those as you want to. So if you want to make something annual, you would just go down and add it annually if there was going to be an additional contribution. Okay. So 400,000, 70-30 allocation. He's going to be contributing 400 a month in addition to that until he retires. And he's going to get an inheritance of 10,000. So that's been pretty simple so far. Now let's look at expenses. What are his living expenses? Well, John is doing pretty well. He's pretty frugal. So let's say that his living expenses right now are $3,000 a month. Okay. Actually, let's make that 3,500 a month. And let me think for a minute. Yeah, that'll work. So $3,500 a month for expenses. That's all living expenses. Now, how much of his portfolio is taxable? Well, let's say that his portfolio is mostly in his, well, let's say it's half in retirement. Okay. So 50% of his portfolio is retirement funds. And then here it's the estimated percent of Social Security, pension, and other income subject to taxes. He's going to be pretty frugal when he retires. He's going to be very careful. So when he does start to collect Social Security, he has a good bit of his money, his retirement money in Roth. So we think he's probably not going to have to pay a percentage of his Social Security, or if it is a very low percentage. So let's say 20% of his Social Security will be taxable there. And then his effective tax rate has been 12%. Okay, that's the new rules there that we're hoping will get adopted officially. And is he going to have any other special withdrawals? Let's say that he thinks in about, when he hits about 70, he might need a new car. Well, a new to him car. So he's going to buy a used car and he will need $15,000 for that car. Okay. All right, so that's the end of that. So to go over that again, he's, oh, sorry, this is retirement living expenses. Yeah, so let's take that down to 3,000. Okay, so $3,000 a month. His portfolio is 50% not in retirement. or taxable upon withdrawal, excuse me. And his taxable portion of retirement income, we're going to estimate that because of his uh, monthly required monthly distributions as RMDs, he may owe up to 20% of his Social Security as tax. No, I didn't say that right. He may have up to 20% of his Social Security taxable. So, and then he'll be in the 12% tax rate. Okay. And then he's going to have one item that he probably will need to withdraw for a car at age 70. So, all right. So lastly, you have the settings. You can make some assumptions in here. These are the defaults. They're expecting an 8% average return for stocks, bonds 4.5. It gives you a standard deviation, which I don't even mess with, or the correlation coefficient. I don't even mess with that. Just make it easy on yourself. You can keep this. If you think that the bonds estimate is too optimistic, you could say move that down to 2.5. Okay. And then it's asking, do you want to have zero volatility? So do you want to have, do you not want to take into account the possibility of, extreme events, extreme volatility? For right now, we're just going to remove the volatility from the portfolio performance. Actually, you know what? That took away fat tails, and I think we need to keep the fat tails included. So we're going to go with the volatility in place. We do always want to be conservative, or at least I do. So I usually try to program in volatility. But if you don't feel comfortable with that, say you have a very heavy bond portfolio, then you could remove volatility if you wanted to. All right. So fat tails, there's a little bit of information about fat tails there. It gives you a little bit more leeway because of the volatility. It gives you more of a range. So typically they say go ahead and leave, the fat tails in. And then what do you want your magnitude of the tail events to be? You can go extreme or standard. I'm just going to keep everything on standard. This is pretty complex, so you can just leave it in all the defaults here, honestly. If you want to include a black swan event like a recession, a once in a lifetime thing, to assess the potential, you can. I'm not going to do that because in my mind, when you choose the 8% return for stocks, you're already including the recessions. The reason why I say that is historically in the stock market, since inception, the average return has been between 9 and 11%, I believe. And that includes depressions, recessions, everything else. It's already including that in this 8% amount. So to my mind, I don't want to double count it. Now, if you want to do that, you're certainly welcome to do so. Okay, so now what did that take us? All of about 5 minutes. We're going to click Show Me. And it's going to simulate his retirement portfolio. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So it ran 10,000 simulations. Okay, so basically Monte Carlos. It ran Monte Carlo testing based on the information that we gave. And it looks like he's going to be able to successfully retire with that money. Okay. And in fact, he's going to multiply it. So if you look here in an unlucky market, that's a 20th percentile. He's still going to end up with pretty close to $1 million. This is the fat tail here. So ends up just below $1 million. Meanwhile, if the market is wonderful, at age 90, he will have up and over $3.5 million. Further, you can go down, you can see the breakdown by age under the 3 different classifications: unlucky, which is 20% of the time, median 50% of the time, and lucky 80% of the time. And those are your balances for your portfolio at the different ages. Okay. So what I really like about this program is number one, the simplicity of it. And number two, you can go back and you can edit it and you can say, okay, all right, well, it looks like I'm going to have plenty of money. So I'm going to see if I can increase my expenses. Um, or maybe I'd like to take a bucket list trip. So let's make another special withdrawal. And when John retires, he wants to go, he wants to go on his dream trip. And he wants to go to, let me think, he wants to go to Antarctica. Okay. So let's add that to it. And we're going to increase his living expenses by $500 a month. So let's see what happens with that. Okay. And according to the simulations, 10,000 simulations, he is still able to do this. In the unlucky percentile, he will end up with $500,000, which is basically what he started out with. In the median, he's still going to have over 1 million. And if he's lucky, in the lucky category, he'll have almost 3 million. So, you can play with this and you can see, you can put some more conditions in here. Let's see. Let's say that John didn't have $400,000. Let's say that John had $200,000. Okay. And we're going to keep everything else the same. He's going to get a $10,000 inheritance. And his expenses are going to be $3,500 a month in retirement. And we're going to move the car down to 10,000 maybe. Although I don't know what kind of car 10,000 is going to get you at age 70, but we'll just leave it with that. It's doing today's dollar. But he still wants to take that Antarctica cruise. So let's see if he can do that with his portfolio being $200,000 at retirement. Okay, so that is much different. So if you look here, his tail here, the unlucky, he's going to run out of money. Looks like about 85 or so. Okay, yep. So now he's going to run out of money. So unlucky is going to end with nothing. The median, he's got 300,000. And the lucky, he's got just less than 1 million here. So let's see. Does it say at what age exactly? It's between 85 and 90. I would say it's probably about 86 years old. No, it's not. It's 89. So he makes it almost to age 90. Now, keep in mind, he's going to still have his Social Security and his pension coming in the way that we've set it up. I think it's here. No, it's back here. Sorry. So he's still going to have his Social Security and his pension. And together, those equal $3,400, which is why he was able to do it very easily with the 3,000. But, in real life, if you are in a situation and you start to see your account balances go down like that, you're going to make adjustments. You're not just going to stand around and watch it happen. You're going to make adjustments. So at that point, maybe John, takes a look at it and says, you know what, 3,500, maybe I don't need to, maybe I can pare back a little bit and I can bring it back to, say I can save $300 a month. And maybe I don't need to do the expensive. Maybe I can try to see if I can get a bargain on an Antarctica cruise. And because that's my wish list item. That's something I've wanted to do my whole life. So I'm going to try to take that down to 15,000. I have no idea what those cost, by the way. So I'm just pulling numbers out of the air. But so he says, I'm going to try to get a better deal on an Antarctica cruise. So let's see if making those little tweaks is going to give him success in all the categories. And look at that, it does. So his unlucky is going to end up about 230,000, about where he started. And then the median, or the 50th percentile, is going to be 600,000. So again, this is 20% chance of that happening, 50% chance, 80% chance. Lucky is 1.36. I guess percent chance isn't the right way to say it, but anyway, it's unlucky, median, lucky. And then again, if you look down here at the bottom, it shows even in the unlucky percentile, you've got at age 90, you're probably in the scenarios that they've run, you're going to end up with 219,000. So yeah, so this is a really handy tool. It's very, very simple to use. You can save it if you want to. You can run so many different, scenarios here. If you want to try to leave a legacy to your kids, how much do you have to have in the bank? And what do you need your expenses to be, that kind of thing. If you want to try to help your parents when you're retired and you're going to be sending them money every year, you can factor that in. So I think it's a pretty great tool, being that it is free, and I think it is super easy to use. And like I said, you can go back and forth and back and forth. Here, John only has a few more years to work. But if you're younger and you want to see what the effect is, let's say that you were born in 1990 and you're going to you're going to work until I think full retirement age for 1990 is still 67. And your annual income right now is that 80,000. Let's see, you go out to Social Security, that would probably be a lot more by then. So 3,500, and then you're not going to have a pension. Okay. I'm going to ignore those because now they're zeros. I'm going to ignore those messages. And then your portfolio. Oh, okay. Looks like I have to correct them. So 67. It's because I changed the retirement age. Okay. You can't take things if you're retiring at 67 when you're 65. All right. So portfolio, you're just getting started in life. Let's say at 1990, you're 35. So say you have, I don't know, 50,000, okay? But you're going to be contributing, let's see, you're a lot younger, so you're going to do 80% stocks at this point. You're going to contribute a portion of your salary, and you're going to do 3% to get the 3% match from your employer. So that gives you a total of 6%. And you're already doing it, okay? And then we're going to take away the inheritance. Okay. So this person's much younger. They're still just beginning their retirement savings, but they've got a good start. And more importantly, they are contributing on a regular basis right out of their salary. So that will add up with their employer match. Okay. Their expenses on retirement, they're estimating that by the time they retire, they're going to need $4,000 a month, and they'll have the house paid off. So, things are expensive. I'm going to keep the rest of this the same. I'm going to remove that. And I'm going to say at age 60, 67, when they first retire, let's see if they can travel they want to go to Brazil for a few months, and they want to be able to spend $20,000, which is a lot of money in Brazil for a few months, but that's their bucket list amount in today's dollars, not future dollars. Okay, I keep everything else the same. Show me. So this is someone who is 35 years old. And there you go. And it's going to help you predict when you retire, or what the final amount is, not when you retire. I mean, when you retire at 67, you're going to have somewhere around $600,000 in today's dollars. And then from there, it just goes on. It just shows you your possibilities. So the light blue shading is the possibilities, and this would be the, I don't know if that's the median. I'm not quite sure. But in any case, your median is you ending with 3.03 million, lucky 7.2, unlucky 1 million. So it looks like if you're born in 1990 and that's your plan, you're actually looking pretty good. It's those steady contributions. So anyway, I'll wrap this up. But I think it's a pretty good tool for a free tool. I do prefer to be able to put more conditions into my scenarios. I prefer to put a lot more details and try to plan for all these different contingencies, which is why I really like Bolden a lot. Used to be New Retirement. But for a free tool, I think this is a great one. So anyway, feel free to go out there and give it a spin. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. God bless.